Okay, I think I'm ready. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is September, September 28th of 2023. It's 6:15 p.m. And um, tomorrow I've got Verizon coming, and there's several of my videos that talk about this, so I won't repeat the other stuff about it. So it's coming tomorrow, and I found out last night or something. I was looking, and they had my address instead of Fort Worth. They had it. What is it? I forget. They had the zip code correct. They had the street address correct, but they had the city wrong. And so then I was thinking, oh God, because I'm looking forward. That if you watch the other videos, you know why and everything. Looking forward to getting here tomorrow. And I thought, damn, But I was just talking to the neighbor, and he signed up yesterday at the same time I did. The same two people signed him up. And then I mentioned him. I was kind of worried, and he said, no. He said, that's what happened with him too, and you couldn't change it. Was it Ben Hook or whatever? So I should get it tomorrow for sure. So I will have, it should be working tomorrow, I hope. Okay, I think it will be. And now I'm going to continue for a few days with the $100 a month that I'm paying to Spectrum. Now I'm paying for 1,000 down, but I think I got 1,000 once or twice. But I do get usually 4 and 5. Well, wait a minute. I did this the other. I'll do this here. Speed test, but I can get by with the 300 that Verizon will give me. So everything should go good tomorrow. Now, if you wonder what I'm talking about, watch previous videos if you're interested. Really no reason to, to be, but it'll be here tomorrow, so I'll be hooking that up tomorrow. And with him getting his delivery tomorrow, and they'll be at the same time. We both ordered at the same day, same two guys, and oh, okay. Damn. Oh, that's my cell phone. Looks like we're going to have to move, being they're not going to sign their lease, I think, in February here. That's the way it looks right now. And so I called a number. Well, I didn't call a number. I logged into a site looking for some place that the three of us could go. And I logged in. I gave the information. I wondered why, because I just wanted to find out. And then I saw as soon as I did that their site was massively set up for, like an old person goes there. We have in fact, it's called Mother's Place or something like that. And so it's a place that, an old person goes, and you pay a whole bunch of money because they're getting all kinds of care, and then when they go to the stage where they're not getting much care, and when they're dying, and that kind of, the price goes in, and whatever. So that's not what we need. And I could tell too. Okay, they're looking for customers, and it's going to cost the customers a lot of money, which we don't have a lot of money. Be sure, if you can, use any of the links below that you see to help out. So anyway, I logged into this. They ask a question. Oh, they asked two questions. This site for housing for old people or people that are, whatever. Are you going to be paying more than one? Let's see. What was it? Anyway, it was a high amount. Or are you going to be? Would you be paying this other amount? Of course, I put the other amount, which was still high. So they've called about 6 or 7 times today. I guess I'm going to have to answer the phone and explain to them, take me off the list for calling. Because, they're calling so much because I'm sure there's commissions involved, and when they set somebody, they probably have vacancies because they're really expensive. So I guess one of these times when they call, I'm just going to have to answer the phone and say, sorry, not interested, take me off your list. Anyway, this is a good deal that this Bernard, our neighbor, he's going to get his Verizon equipment, box and everything, at the same time we do. He's right over there, lives right across from us. And so I'm sure, and then too, you have to sign for it. So it won't be as important for me to, of course I put a sign on the door quite often. I write it, stick it on the door for UPS or whatever it is. Like I think the last one is UPS. We are here, we're old and slow. Give us time to get to the door. But because a couple of times somebody wouldn't leave, and I never heard the knock. And years and years ago when I was in Missouri, and I was a Raymore police officer, and I normally patrolled for like 9 years. I did a midnight shift for an evening shift, and then I'd stay over when we finally got a paid officer, and he went on the midnight shift, and I'd stay over as long as I could, so he'd have a backup. I didn't have a backup when I was going in at 7 p.m. or whatever. But for some reason, I guess by that time we probably had a few officers on both shifts, or all 3 shifts, however you want to count it. And it was quite a while back, because Commodore 64 was the computer that I was using. And I had other computers, but Commodore 64. And I ordered quite a bit of things, cards, and I had a VIC-20 also, that was a Commodore. And the guy, I would sit there right next to the front door. It was a mobile home. I would sit right there knowing that the packages that I was going to get a delivery. And I wouldn't hear a sound. And but there would be a thing in the door. So he didn't knock on the door. I was sitting right there. He just figured it was Monday through Friday at daytime, and nobody was home during the daytime. And he just put a thing in, and so I ended up patrolling for some reason the day shift. Now, of course, when I worked the day shift or something like that, I was a reserve officer, but they paid me what they paid the regular full-time officers. But I'd see the delivery truck, and I didn't stop him, with the lights or anything, but he'd pull up to some place, so I'd pull up behind him. I didn't turn the lights on or anything, And then I said, I think you got a package for me, and then he'd dig them out for me. But I just told, in fact, I was for some reason telling the 2 guys that were here from Verizon, we were talking about how long I had been doing this. They couldn't hardly believe it actually that I've been online so long and that type of stuff. And so it came up that, like when I was telling them, when internet finally came for, well, cable came, but that brought internet. And lived in Belton, Missouri, about 30,000 people, a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. And of course, it brought it to Kansas City, Missouri first, and then finally the other places. So finally, it got delivered. I got hooked up. Internet, and of course, I'd been bringing internet in before there was internet in it because in the past I worked through 3 or 4 bulletin board systems in Kansas City. We got together and we went. I didn't. They took care of it. The other guys did. So went to a university or something like that and said, "Hey, we'd like to connect or whatever." And they said, "Sure." But someplace somebody saw what we were pulling in, which it wasn't porn or anything like that. It was like I brought in news groups for people who liked that airplane show with a small airport or whatever. Brought in other stuff. I brought in weather and all kinds of stuff. And the other guys were bringing in stuff like that too. But somebody someplace in the United States or maybe the world saw, Howard.net or whatever it was instead of university or instead of GOV for government. And they must have complained, these people they shouldn't be using this. This is for universities and for the government or whatever. So we were told we had, and then I had to arranged with in Omaha, Nebraska, the users group up there, that they were able to get it. So then my computer would have to call on the phone, and I should have just done it once a day, but I made it twice a day where I'd call to bring in and to send stuff out. But okay, I got sidetracked on something. How come you guys let me get sidetracked? I can't remember now. But I guess I was just talking about, no, that's not what it was, but talking about how, I know what it was, yeah, because that brought in the police department. So finally, cable, but I wasn't interested in cable. I wanted the internet. And so I got internet, and then about a week later, I was patrolling during the daytime. And, maybe not. Maybe that was coming in, for my regular shift of one night a week. I did work during the daytime sometimes. So I think, okay, it just got dark, and it was like a Sunday or a Saturday or something like that. And I think school wasn't even in, school wasn't even in session. I think it was summertime or something. And a pickup truck came from behind the school. There wasn't any parking lot back there and a pickup truck came and come barreling out of there pretty quick. Oh, another thing. In order to get a ticket from me, you had to be, I gave out very few tickets. And, you had to be really an asshole to get one from me. But anyway, this truck came out. And so, who is that? Is it somebody, a maintenance guy of some kind? But there was nobody there at the school, but, I didn't think it was, John Dellinger or who's another criminal or something, So, he started off speeding, though. So I turned the lights on. He had somebody with him in the truck. And, of course, in the back window, which is not unusual in the United States, he had a rifle, on a thing, and back when they rode with, he had that. I wasn't worried about that, really. I mean, I noticed it. So I go up, and then when I go up to his vehicle, "You goddamn Raymore police officers, you're always stopping me, you're always stopping us." And I could sympathize with the guy. Raymore was very small, and the police, there wasn't much traffic, and especially like at night or something. And, the officers were, they were, because I worked at the hospital there, not in Raymore, but, a few hundred feet away from it. And the nurses there would say, "Jim, why do those Raymore police officers, when I get off work at 11 p.m. and I'm going, over 58 Highway or whatever, and they make me nervous, they follow me." And I said, I explained to them, there's nothing going on there. They want to do something. They want to do a car check or do something. I said, that's what it is, And so anyway, so this guy, when he was, "You're always stopping us," and whatever, and so I could sympathize with that. But then he said, "Hey, you're not giving me a ticket." Okay, that was the wrong thing to say, So, I mean, "You're not giving me a ticket," or whatever. And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, you're getting a ticket. Just step on back to the patrol car and I'll fill it out." "No, you're not giving it. I'm not signing it." And I said, "Then you go to jail, And of course I gave him the thing, like, okay, when you sign this ticket, you're not admitting that you're guilty or anything else. That's just saying that you will show up on such and such a date and time at the court. And whatever, I'm not signing it," or whatever. And then I just, fell it out, and I said, "Well, then you're going to be locked up in jail." And so then, but I forget what it was. I'm not sure I can't remember now if I recognized him or what it was. But that's the guy who just installed a few days before that, had installed my internet. And I thought, God damn, But now he did get a ticket, but he didn't come and disconnect my internet. So that was it. That was a little story. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I hooked up the other camera. I think really I need to keep things simple. I could have two different camera views. There's one camera here. Okay, that's the one high. And then there's this camera over here which is not running, but if I turned it on, it would be running. But I do think I need to keep it simple. I do need, though, to have where I can switch and have full screen occasionally of me. And although, God help you, I don't want to scare you or anything, a guy that's 82, you probably don't want to see. A guy probably that's any age you don't want to see, So anyway, I'll have my neighbor, he'll be watching for the delivery guy here, so hopefully he'll get it tomorrow. Hopefully everything goes okay. When I got this before, what happened, it's in the previous videos or whatever in more detail, but the two people who came and signed me up should not have been signing up anybody in this area. And of course these people also told me, I asked, "Where's the tower?" "Right over there, I can see the tower. I could see the tower from where I live. Out the window I could see the tower." And he said, "No," he says, the guy said, and I said, "Well, they just made some kind of he was saying like, they need to be reported or whatever." And I said, I don't know who they were, whatever. And I said, "Why are you so, anybody can make a mistake." And he said, "Not with this." And I said, "Why, how, they just pulled into this place, they had some places around here." And he said, "No, with our computer here," he says, "Look," and it showed, I think green and red or something, I guess it showed green. He says, "When they were filling it out on the computer, it shows green when, this is an area that there is a strong signal or whatever." And I said, oh, so. So it'll be interesting to see when I hook this thing up. I'll try in here in my room. Afraid to try in the other room. My son might decide to boost it up or turn it upside down or do, who knows what he might do. So, but that side of the place would be a good place in the living room or whatever, and there's a tall book rack or whatever that goes. Well, actually, the living room is a disaster. We just got stuff stored there. There's not a divan in there. There's the cat litter is in there, but there is this thing, and so I'm guessing if I don't get a good signal here, then I can put it up, in there, and whatever. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's much cheaper. I'm paying $100 now, and it's going to be almost free because I think it's $60. And now when I hooked up before with their thing, it was $60. Well, it wasn't $60. It was, they advertised it as, like $20 or something like that, because you can get a discount because the government will pay $30 if. And there was like 6 or 7 conditions, one of which is somebody lives there who's on food stamps. My ex-wife gets food stamps. Not very much, but she does get food stamps. And so when those people that were here before signed me up, I said, I'm not on food stamps. And they said, no, that's okay, it's the resident. So I signed it up, and we didn't get the discount. And then there wasn't a reason to apply, because after a few days I could see this doesn't work. But this time, the ex-wife will have to fill out that page, well, not page, it'll be online. And so the charge is about $60 for the internet, but 30 or more, well, $30 is going to go. So maybe what he was saying that I'll be paying almost nothing. I guess he means that, which I consider, I'm paying $100 now. So that's going to help us out a lot. So what else is going on? I told you about that in a previous video, that I pulled this, let's see. Okay, gotta make sure this doesn't get disconnected, because this is not the, Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, what time is it? Okay, I think the thing, yeah, it came out when I moved it. Okay. So I'm just not going to move it. Well, I said the other day I was going to use a tie to tie it off, so okay. I ordered, when I found this in my box of all my stuff, I thought, well, I might as well have that. Alexa. Okay. I ordered. I went to. You watch me online here, going to the site and looking up these Amazon devices, and it's back now because it tells me the time is 6:39. So when I get down here, I'll use one of my ties to tie it off so that it doesn't get, but it slipped in there good. But anyway, I went on to Amazon and looked, and I thought, okay, it's got to be this power cord, and I ordered it, $13 or something, and that didn't fit. So then I dug through my things, and I have a whole bunch of, and I found one that did fit. And then of course I thought, okay, is this going to burn it up, or not? Nope, it was enough power for it. So, Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 74 degrees.
See, that's got a screen on it, so it shows it, and stuff like that. I was hooked up through the entire house with, Alexa devices, but my son decided he loved to play. He's 47. He started playing with the thing, entering, changing the voice, the command that you use. And I couldn't get him to stop it. He just kept doing that, and he kept changing everything and whatever, so I just put all my, just put things away for me. But Darlene, continued to use it because she uses it all the time. And I talked about that. And so I did have, this device controlling my lights and what else? Lights. But actually just doing a few simple things. But I just gave up on it. He gets a fascination with some things. Lordy, Lordy, help us. Okay, today's medication. It's almost 7 p.m. and I haven't taken all my morning medication yet. I'll take this 2.5 ones. The half one is actually a little bit less than half. It's the pill to make me urinate. Well, that little tiny sliver of a water pill doesn't want to go down. I think it just went down. When I was in kindergarten, well, I was born in March of 1941. See, March of 1941, and for the United States, World War II started December of 1941. So consequently, the way Republicans think, I was responsible for the starting of, because of responsible for the starting of World War II for the United States. Because the Republicans, and I think this is a little bit older Republic. I mean, this is not the current Trump Republicans. Communism happened to come to an end for the USSR when Reagan was president of the United States. So they give him credit for putting an end to communism. So consequently, if this is the way things go, since I was, they just, no. Did the USSR come to an end when Ronald Reagan was president of the United States? Yes. Who would be the number one president who would be responsible for the end of communism in the USSR? That would be probably President Franklin D. Roosevelt, but let's leave him because the Republicans I'm not talking about the current Republicans because they're not, well, they're not Republicans. They're a lunatic fringe or whatever, but let's leave Franklin D. Roosevelt off of the thing. So, which president was most responsible for the end of communism in the USSR? President Harry Truman. Now, of course, in reality, it would be all the presidents. Well, Harry Truman, because of the thing, the Truman Plan, I forget the other plan. Communism decided to, test the United States after World War II by invading, South Korea, and Truman, immediately sent, U.S. troops. And I feel sorry for those U.S. troops because he sent them right away, and they didn't have they didn't have the equipment they needed, and they fought like, hell and suffered, but communists were pushed back. But actually, it's all the presidents, should get credit for the end of communism in the USSR, and the Congresses, Democrats and Republicans, that voted the things that were necessary, the American people for paying taxes for the, and voting in people who would, that all those people. But I just love to, if Reagan is, responsible because he was president, then okay, then I'm responsible for some things, How long have I been talking? 30 minutes, and that's too long. Just wanted to make sure everything was still working, I think, and killing a little bit of time. So anyway, tomorrow, hopefully, it's not going to matter if it works tomorrow. Well, even if it doesn't work, I'll still have internet because I'm not going to disconnect the internet we have now for 2 or 3 days. Just to make sure, because I did that last time when the Verizon's, and I hooked it up, and it looked like it was going to work for a little bit, and then it didn't, it didn't work. It was very easy to hook everything up, so it should be hopefully easy this time. I don't know, I'm having one. I've had a couple of things show up on my bank account that shouldn't, and I need to go totally through, and I forget which program I used. Well, maybe I just logged into the password protection program and went down and started clicking on ones, and I found that it was a small amount, but they were taking money out. I didn't even know who they were, and some of them have been taking out, a small amount of money, for a long time. So I guess I need to go back and do that. By the way, half a block from here is my bank, Wells Fargo, and that's convenient. I don't like Wells Fargo because of their history They were fined one of the largest. Maybe some other bank now has, moved into the #1 list, but they've done just terrible things in the background. I saw they just were caught again doing something like that, and regrettably, I had, because I've got mobility. We don't have a car. None of us have a car. None of us have driver's licenses. And but anyway, I really don't. Also, I don't like. I've got a son who's now he's a CPA certified. Anyway, does auditing for businesses and things. oh yeah, so the Wells Fargo Bank, their bank statement, like when I log in, what in the fuck's going on with, what's in the fuck's going on? They have, this thing at at the top, and it's got, stuff in there. And then you go down to the regular thing, like all other banks. There's a thing, money going out, money coming in. This has something up at the top within. So I'm 82, and I thought, well, okay. I've been using these people for 12 years. Uh, Forget who I used before. But anyway, I thought, well, it's just me. I'm old, and not too swift. But then finally, I sent a copy of it, online to my son, who's a CPA, and I said, what's it? And he handles the accounts and where he works from home, and they pay for him to get food delivered to him every day and everything. So it's a good. I'd hate that job though. There's a lot of jobs I would hate. A lot of jobs I would love. But being a certified, doing accounting or something, no way. Oh God. But anyway, so I sent the thing to him, and he said, I've never seen any bank account, that's that's weird. I've never seen it, and that's not normal. And I thought, okay. So I wasn't, I didn't have Alzheimer's yet or something, because it really was confusing on the things that were up there. Anyway, they've been, first Wells Fargo was, we're making some changes. We'd like for you to approve us to make these changes here or whatever. And I thought, no, I don't want any changes. And then finally they just said, okay, eventually, we're making these changes, and all your bank numbers, all this kind of stuff, all that will be, but it'll be, it'll show up differently, but it'll be, so all your numbers will be the same. Things that are direct deposit will be direct deposit, all that kind of stuff. And so that at the top now, they've been having for weeks or months, things are changing, and everything will be the same. And today, for the first time, I logged in instead of Wells Fargo, checking account or whatever, savings account or whatever. It's now called, what is it? The thing, it doesn't say Wells Fargo Bank. It says, now of course your checks still work, and your card, it says, your Wells Fargo card still works, all that still works. But it says every bank or something like that. I guess I could call it up, but I don't want you to really even, know what. Don't want to give you any ideas or anything. But it's weird. I did notice, though, if that thing is still at the top of the thing, which is confusing as hell. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please give thumbs up. If there's some links below that take you someplace, it looks like for the first time with getting money from Amazon, when you click on something, for the first time, like on the graph that it shows, and it gives the numbers and things. I've been, the line down in this area here. Now there's, I could show you, it wouldn't compromise anything, but actually I finally moved up to the next graph level, and the lines are doing, doing that in that, and they just put $21 into my account from Amazon for when you click on something where I have a link. And So right now, I'd be happy with $20 a month. I've been with them, with YouTube since 20. Was it? I think it's 2005. How long have I been? Well, since they started, whenever that was. And so yeah, anything you can click on below to help out, please do. So thank you very much for watching.